And then I know that a lot of these guys were committed, but I had a chance to get out and see every one except for one during the contact period here in December. And, you know, we just couldn't get it worked out with his mom in terms of being off, but you know, they were here for their official visit and everything else. But you know, the thing that's really, you know, you get around these young men and you get around their families, and they're driven. They want to be good. They do things the right way. They're good students, good people, and really good athletes. You know, I had the chance to see some of them play in person, and that was impressive to watch them because, again, you know, when you can see somebody play in person and you see how they interact with the coaches when they come off the sideline, or you see how they react to some adverse situation that might have taken place during the game, you can't see those things on film. And that's where you know, the evaluation process is really, really important. And that's where, you know, we're only going to rely on our evaluation, you know, not anybody else's evaluation, because we know what it takes to play in our systems. We know the kind of young men that you know, we want in our program when it comes to work ethic, character, academics, and the total package. So we were able to address you know, quite a few of our needs. You know, with these 19, you know, we'll still look to sign 7 more here between now and February the 7th. But again, you know, love these guys and what they bring to the table, and you know, we'll have 2 mid-year enrollees, possibly a 3rd that could be enrolling at mid-year, and really, you know, because of the 25 limit that you can have of initials that you sign. Technically, you know, one of the young men that we signed back in August, Eli Thomas, is really part of this class because he counts to 25, but because we ended up being at 85 last year and we were only had 83, we could bring in 2 that you can count ahead, and all the, I mean, it's too complicated for me to explain. But anyhow, we'll end up signing a total really of 27 with Eli counting, you know, in this class. So we really could sign 26. And because of having to be able to have the 2 mid-year enrollees coming in, that gave us the opportunity to sign a total of really 27. So, you know, again, you know, we're still, even after February, you know, we're still going to have some needs that we would like to fill, but just you can't do everything in 1 year. You know, the other thing is, and again, we still have, you know, we're looking now, we have the guys that we're looking at that we want to go after, and you know, we're also going to take a look to see who has signed, who hasn't signed here in this early signing period, that you know, some options could open up for us in this, you know, next period on February the 7th. So if anybody's got any questions.
Randy, how does the early signing period change, if at all, the way you now recruit?
Oh, to me, it's for us to know that I got 19 guys that are already committed, locked in. Okay, I mean, it's the best Christmas present you could have. You know, now you can go and relax and enjoy yourself. You know, you hear all these things about, you know, coaches complaining. The problem with why these coaches are complaining, they want to be able to have their cake and eat it too. Because what they want to be able to do is go and poach people at the end. And now why they're complaining is, you know, there's going to be a lot of guys are taken off the table. So now they can't go and poach anybody. And so now they're going to have to, you know, work a little bit more and evaluate some things. But, you know, for us, making these evaluations and knowing that we have 19 guys that are locked in is huge. You know, it's huge. Because again, and then plus, these young men can now just enjoy themselves, you know, for the rest of their senior year. You know, they'll also get 6 weeks in terms of getting a jump on our strength and conditioning program. So now we're able to send that out to them today since they've signed. So now they got a chance to get involved with what we're doing for 6 weeks, you know, before February 7th rolls around. And now these guys, a lot of them are, you know, the other thing about this group here, there's a lot of these guys that are multiple sport participants, which I like, because they're not tapped out in football. They're just not doing football 12 months out of the year. But the early signing period, to me, this is great. But what you have to do is you have to be very efficient, because from an academic standpoint, and who you want, because you can only have 25, and if for some reason somebody doesn't make it, well, you can't replace that number. So you have to be very, very efficient, and our staff and the people that work on recruiting within our staff, from the standpoint of transcripts and all those things, really just you know, did a tremendous job. And you know, the other thing too is, you know, you can't thank our former players enough, you know, for what they were able to do, you know, what we were able to do with the videos. And you know, Ryan Steinberg was the guy who came up with that and orchestrated that whole thing, and I thought that was really, really a neat thing, you know, and something that will market, you know, helps to market our program like it's not been done before.
What do you look for character-wise or personality-wise out of a kid? What are you looking for? Character-wise and personality-wise, what are you looking for out of a kid?
I'm looking for character-wise, I'm looking for the kids that want to do things the right way. You know, that they understand right from wrong. They're workers. There's respect from people within the school and their community. You know, and then from a personality standpoint, you know, I want guys that aren't afraid to converse, you know, with people, you know, that might be in a position of authority, those sort of things. That's why, you know, when I go out, I go by myself. I don't go with one of the other assistant coaches. You know, I go see these kids by myself, because I want to sit down with them and, you know, see how they interact and all that. And a lot of them we knew before, but you know, you get them in a setting and there's going to be certain questions that I'm going to ask them that, you know, maybe my coaches won't ask. And there's certain questions I might ask of a guidance counselor or somebody in the hallway. But that's what I'm looking for, kids that want to do things the right way, that are willing to work, that don't think that they're entitled to anything. And that's, you know, this group is, you know, very, very impressive. You know, the one thing most of them, all of them said that they're thankful for the opportunity. And I said, well, you've earned it. You know, so again, they're very genuine, and they have the ability to go with it.
Randy, 4 of the 19 are Connecticut homegrown kids. How important is it when building or restoring is to keep some of the best talent, you know, right here in your backyard?
Well, I think it's very important, you know, to be able to, because again, the more that you can, if you have, you know, people here in your own state that you determine are good enough and you can keep them at home, that means you don't have to go further away to attract the talent to come here. And you know, the thing that's neat, you know, the one story, KK, you know, being part of the Goal Line Project, when we started that when I was here before, down at the East Hartford Middle School. And now there's a kid that came up through that program who's now going to be sitting in here and going back and doing the same thing for some of those kids that our former players did for him. But I think that it's very important. And then also when you add not just the high school kids, but the number of prep schools that are here in the state, and with people coming, you know, to the prep schools, you know, and you have, you know, Jeremy, you know, who did that. And so, you know, you take advantage of all your resources, and, you know, hopefully we'll have, you know, more and more, you know, Connecticut kids that we can recruit, that we feel can help us in the years to come.
Yvonne, looking at him, he, you know, passes that eye test, he looks physically ready to go. I mean, what do you see in a guy like him? See a guy who maybe can contribute.
Who was that again?
Demond Jones.
Oh, okay. You know, KK is a guy that's just, you know, very athletic. You know, and to see how he's developed over the last year, since we've been in touch with him, you know, you see a guy that's just become more confident. And when you watch him play, you know, he's playing running back, he's playing linebacker, he's playing, you know, all kinds of different positions there. He plays basketball. You know, he's a tremendous athlete. And, you know, the one thing about him, he's dedicated to working. You can see that he's gotten stronger. Those are the things to me. And again, he's a good kid. He's a very humble kid. You know, that's the other thing. You know, when you talk about the character, you know, you want those kids who are humble. You know, but understand they're humble, but they're hungry. And you know, he's one of those type of young men.
Randy, could you explore a little bit the depth of talent vis-a-vis the rest of the country in Connecticut from when you came? Are there more players as compared to the rest of the country, or what do you see?
Well, I think, you know, what has happened is there has been probably more players here than maybe when I was here before. And, you know, I had this discussion with Lou Marinelli last January, I think it was. And I said to him, I said, it just seems like there's more kids, you know, here in Connecticut than there was when I was here before. And he, you know, when he mentioned this to me and he thought about it, he's right. And I think what's happened is because of a lot of these young men now, they started growing up in a time when we were very successful here with the football program. And a lot of them went to games and were around it. And it got probably more